manager of Valorant G2 team, and he told me they actually started practicing with a coach. So,
Okay.
so it's a little bit, it's a little bit different nowadays. G2 is taking it more seriously when it comes to preparations, and I'm very happy to see that. And probably this is also the fruit of this cooperation because we see changes. Ardiis on Breachc, Davidp back on Sage. It's going to be awesome to behold.
You know, I spoke a while ago with, was that a misclick from Mixwell? I spoke a while ago with Mixwell about this whole situation. I was asking, when are you guys going to start looking in towards coaching? And they said the whole time they've actually been looking for a coach. They've been looking for an analyst. They just haven't found anybody that quite works with their team. Now, good to see that they have. They're at least starting to get that little bit of extra work done. That's a nice fault line to start things off, slowing down what would have been a very quick push to the A site. As we see G2 looking to try and take the pistol with a very one-dimensional approach until they meet that little bit of a barrier. Then they slow it down and they will spread out across the rest of the map to look for a little bit of control. And they're very worried about someone having pushed up in B.
Yeah, that was quite a stomp. I'll have to say, like, Mixwell was on 2 HP, he got healed by David. Imagine now playing without a Sage, right?
Yes.
Mixwell would have been just stopped in his tracks completely. But really interesting approach to the game because I feel like G2 is approaching Orgless the way they've seen Orgless play Split before, because we had seen Orgless actually lose most games on Split in the qualifiers because of the fact that they were playing both Omen and pipsoN at the same time. I'm really happy to see that Orgless did actually change, and now they play Breachc instead of the pipsoN. This actually changes the whole dynamic of this entire map.
I do wonder, when they take the Jett out of the comp, how it's going to affect those faster pushes from G2. But we'll find that out in a little bit, because for now, we're looking at G2 pushing into the B site. They've waited actually for the Sage heal to get Mixwell to 100 HP as they enter in towards this site. The cage keeping them back. There's Mixwell. 100 health doesn't matter when the ghost is what meets you, but a quick trade out by pyth puts them right back into the game. A man advantage now to play with. They have no idea about ardiis' position. Tucked in towards middle way. Oh, that's a great paranoia, but no capitalization. Can't quite connect the shots. They fall back, and look at ardiis. He's going to be the one to take this one for them. Now Heaven control goes towards G2, and it's so difficult to get out onto the B bomb site when you don't have Heaven. You're running through a choke point. There's two players ready to take you down, and pyth is already in with a second, looking for the 3K in the round, and there we go.
The confidence on this guy, like, why would you re-peek that without any assurance from Sage?
So ardiis was peeking in Heaven and got taken down. I think he felt the pressure, while Davidp, who'd been lit down low, wasn't quite on the same page and went to fall back. It's one of those scenarios where it can genuinely cost you if your opponent's quick enough to hit those shots.
Yeah, this is a very good example of how you should use Classic in those pistol rounds. Both Mixwell and pyth use a lot of jumping around with the Classic because the triple shot is so accurate. The right-click Classic, it's a classic in pistol rounds, I love it. I love it. I never buy Ghost anymore. Always play Classic nowadays.
Okay, I suppose as long as you're playing an angle where you can just hide around that corner, the right click is always so powerful. Maybe not so much the shorty, though.
Imagine nerfing shorty, right? That would have been a kill with the old shorty, 100%.
Oh no, hoody. He's been done. He thought he could creep underneath the tripwire, and he could have if there wasn't a player staring at him. He's kind of caught in the middle of a robbery. And so G2, man advantages at plenty. I think the call here is just don't let pyth fight. Keep the weapon over if you can and try to survive this one as flawlessly as possible.
Yeah, I guess pyth should rotate and just give the weapon to maybe David. Just exchange it, so he doesn't lose the Spectre. It's a 1.6k. That could have been saved, right? So, but still, only pipsoN alive.
Flawless.
It's a flawless round, and who is bringing that flawless round?
Prime Gaming brought you that flawless round, of course. Our beautiful sponsors there, we always got to give them the shout-outs. We love them, and we love these teams. For G2, they're the favorites, and I think the analyst desk were saying this whole time, there was a bit of a split opinion, but split opinion, you get it? But I do wonder if that's just because of Icebox being the third map, because I'm in that boat. I want to see the third map,
yeah,
I want to see Icebox, but I don't think we will.
I don't think we're gonna see it, It's like... Jokes aside, I actually said it's gonna be 90-10 for G2, and not because I'm in G2 as well, but it's just the team.
Percentage for those that are new to the game. We're not playing 100 rounds here.
Yeah, it's
That'd be a bit much.
I don't know. G2 is just so good. Mechanically speaking, even when they play just improvised gameplay, they are just so well. you know, skilled.
Yeah, exactly. They've got the individual skill. This buy round, though, is going to test that. They have weaker weapons dashing out to the B site, even without a Jett. As ardiis picks up the first, a second as well, going over towards the G2 side. They should secure a plant. Patitek swinging out wide, looking for this very advanced position. There's no need to go aggressive at this stage. All the advantages are theirs, but hey, it wouldn't be G2 if they weren't just W keying. And you can see they're just giving Orgless no respect. 3-0.
Oh, this is a disaster for Orgless. Losing a third round on split on defense. Like, let's say, you know, when you play a matchmaking game, ranked game in Valorant, when you typically play split, you're gonna say, oh, it's defense side, we have to win as many rounds as possible because the map is favoring us. In a professional level of play, I would say split is evenly split.
Hey!
Between the sides.
See how many we can get in.
Yeah, yeah, we can draw out the mileage out of this one. But I would even say that maybe the attacking side is a little bit more favored to some degree. Depends on the playstyle of the teams, right? But it's still devastating for Orgless to lose that third round. It's basically free economy for G2 right now.
Whoa! Nice free right click. It wasn't actually the kill from Hoody. Oh, that's cost him so much, but he's getting away with murder on the classic through there. Running with the Phantom up close to Patitek, and pyth is left alone. They won the round where they had weaker weapons, but now, out of absolutely nowhere, Orgless have been able to answer back. Pistols and a Blade Storm, all that it required. pyth in a 1v4 swinging through. There's no chance for him. Hoody able to get a fourth for the round. Basically the ace, because he had the kill if it wasn't stolen away by Boo from above. And I'll tell you what, Boo, they certainly did get a fright.
This is... I don't even know how this happened. Maybe they felt overconfident. They just pushed out of the smoke for no apparent reason when they knew that Jett had the ult like already popped.
But the thing is, they flashed the Jett as well, right? So the first kill, fair enough. At that point, though, they pushed through a smoke. Never a good idea versus pistols. But on the other hand, they also had him flashed. So it was like this really awkward scenario where he just got away with so much more. Then that's a Phantom picked up. They've got control of everything. It's a heartbreaking round for G2. It really is.
But it was needed. Like, without this round, Orgless would have been in a dramatic position. Here, they get the weapons back, they get the economy rolling back, and it doesn't look as bad as it was before. Because basically, that was a 4-0 round.
Yeah, exactly. G2 should have been 4-0, 100%. Now the chance to get right back into it and put a second on the board for Orgless and really start to strain the G2 economy is there. We look in towards this Heaven push. A paranoia in play for Boo. He's going to back off, pop a smoke down for his teammates so he can peek in and help to control this Heaven waterfall, or as it could have been. The Sage Wall up. There's Davidp pushing a goes in. No, he's here, and he's still getting a double. Ridiculous work by Davidp. ardiis controls one onto delezyh, controlling now the A site. They're able to get a plant. The man advantages are all theirs, and Happy, well, he's not a very happy man in this 1v3. Smoked out. I don't think he can really do anything. He could only be coming from Heaven, so they're perfectly happy to sit on the side and wait for him.
We have to end with the points, you know?
Happy's gotten away with 3!
Is he happy now?
He's got his ult! Oh, the headshot! It's the worst part when you pop that showstopper and someone swings into you, but he never should have gotten away with that. I said he could only come from Heaven, right? Because they had the smoke out for the defender spawn, and still 2 players were watching it with their backs turned to... I don't understand what's just happened. They did know that he had been here. Obviously, he just got that kill, but the man has legs.
You know, this is the beauty of Valorant. Like, this game allows for crazy situations like this happen. Someone pushes out, uses the utility to his advantage. Like, you are able to carry a game on your own, even on a professional level. Well, you know, we almost have seen that in previous games.
But exactly.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Happy did actually smile.
He must have.
If you know him, you know, from his previous, let's say, appearances in the gaming industry, I think this is one of the most funny nicknames that someone can get, you know? It's like completely opposite of his character.
I've seen that man one-tap so many people with pistols and then just look like He's had to eat margarine raw. And he's not a happy guy, that's for sure. Oh, pipsoN, he's got a good fight here. I think he might have spotted Mixwell just about and stepped into an angle that Mixwell had cleared 2 seconds ago, so the crosshair placement wasn't there. G2 now looking to force a fight in towards this site. Davidp, the battle sage, he most certainly is, opening up with 2 as Patitek grabs another. It looks like we're going to have a rolling thunder just to make sure that B is clear. For good measure, as the plant goes down and a 3v2 is left for Orgless to try and recover. They have got an operator to play with here, which makes it that little bit more difficult to get into the site if G2 aren't peeking. And as Boo goes down, I don't expect Hoodie to even think about going for this.
Yeah, that was really tough for Boo to actually do something out of this, because even if he uses the paranoia to clear up rafters, he didn't. There's no way of hitting someone underneath heaven. So it's pretty hard to breach that. And by the way, that rolling thunder, because this round is basically done, I can speak about a little bit that rolling thunder. I think it was a great, let's say, recon utility, because in this case, even when he didn't hit anyone, that gives him information, because otherwise there would have been a sound of someone being popped in the air, then dropping down and making noise. So there was absolutely no one on that side. Everything was cleared, so G2 didn't even have to like look at angles.
Very true. It also allowed Davidp to get into the position under heaven, because he knew, well, nobody's going to peek me from spawn, are they? Because they're not there. So that information then capitalized on. That's the most important part of it. And looking at Davidp, this guy, he's up on top of the wall. He took that kill then into heaven as well to just grab them a double opening. Patitek as well swinging through on the site. You see G2 at the moment, they're I wouldn't say they're a well-oiled machine when it comes down to tactics in general versus some of the other teams that we've got out there, but they bounce and play off of each other so well that it's always inspiring to watch these pushes, and depressing when I try to make the same thing happen in matchmaking.
It's like, who's calling? G2 is calling Rush B.
Yep.
You know, because that kind of looks like that, you know?
I do recall an Ignition Series grand final in which they just went B every round. I think it was versus someone, oh no, it was versus Bonk. They just went B, 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 kept going, full rush. I loved it. And even in the interview afterwards, we asked Davidp, so, like, what was the communication there? And he was like, oh, every round someone went, should we just go B again? And we all went, yeah, why not?
Maybe he should be renamed to David B.
Davidp, oh God.
I mean, he's the IGL nowadays for G2, you know, because a little bit of insight, beforehand in G2 there was always someone like trying to, maybe like a little bit democratic, but it doesn't really work with 5 individuals like this in G2. So they were all calling a little bit of Mixwell, a little bit of David, a little bit of ardiis, a little bit of also Patitek and David and pyth, right? But in this case, from what I know, David is actually taking almost solely the credit for IGLing. So we'll see if this is actually taking into effect. And I would love to actually ask this question to David in an interview, you know?
Now, this pause at the moment, I'm not entirely sure if it is a technical or a tactical, but what I will say is it's a good time to discuss over on the Orgless side exactly how they want to approach this. Obviously, they've saved the operator on Hoodie. Now, he does get punished for surviving the round. You only get your 1,000 credits. But you can see the position that he's in the next. He should still be able to invest. He's not completely thrown out from the rest of his team's economy. The question is, you already have an operator. Do you invest fully into this one? Do you throw yourself at the round? 5-1 down? You don't want to allow G2 to pick up too much. You made the point earlier that obviously G2 are, or rather split at the professional level, can play out to be an attacker-sided map. I would argue whenever G2 are playing, if they're on the attacker side, it's an attacker-sided map. So, but more so because of the momentum. Remember, the one round that they have lost was versus Pistols when they pushed through smoke. At the moment, when it comes down to full buy rounds that aren't kind of thrown away or gambled on completely, they've been pretty clean. And that's worrying for Orgless. They might feel the pressure to get into the game right here and now.
It's an interesting dynamic, that's for sure. When you play, I can only imagine, but when you play against G2, it's kind of hard to be prepared, because anything can happen. Like when you watch other teams, when you review their VODs, you kind of draw conclusions. An example, Team Liquid was actually playing exactly the same strats on Ascent that they had played in the qualifiers. Like nothing changed. Even the utility was exact same place from Killjoy on market, which then allowed no one to be on garden and so on. And it was actually kind of interesting. But against G2, you can't really do that.
Yeah.
Because there's always something new happening. They just feel like, oh, we're gonna just completely throw our plan out of the window and we're gonna do something completely different. You know?
So this is actually something that we spoke about with Angel, where we asked him, prepping for a G2 game, how do you do it? And he said that they're probably the most annoying team to actually prepare to play against. Because of that exact reason, you cannot expect some of the plays that they make because they are heat of the moment kind of things. It's not something that they've practiced in scrims that you can find out or that you've seen before. It's ardiis going, I might just swing through and push B main with my blast packs. Why not? And then he runs into Fori and still manages to get out of there with a couple of kills. Just to let you guys know at home as well, the reason that we are talking over for so long is because there is a little bit of an issue, a latency issue for one of the players. It is not an extremely 700 IQ tactical pause. I don't think there's that many tactics to physically talk about for them. And certainly if they haven't decided at this point, I would be worried.
Yeah, that's true. But now I'm thinking, how would I play this out when one of my players has an op and the rest are on, let's say, half buy, right? Because we see that Boo is buying a Sheriff. pipsoN will probably go with a Spectral small shields, maybe something along those lines,
See, The thing is, you can't expect to save that op to the next round, so there's a possibility pipsoN even just stays to a very low buy so that they can afford another operator on hoody coming into the next, because he is having a very good performance right now. We know he's comfortable with that op, so I would definitely want to give him whatever he's feeling.
That's interesting, because, I feel like playing an operator is not really required anymore as much as it was in the past, and we'll see if that's going to be a factor. But one more thing I would like to point out is, how do you play it out on the map now? Because I feel like there are two options. You can put hoody on A and kind of watch over the entire site, and then you can stack 4 people on B or on Heaven B, an example, and just try to gamble it, right? Or you even gamble it even more and you put everyone in with different strategies coming in, not the same strategies that I have seen in on the VODs, different playstyle on pistols. It's actually promising, and I'll hope they will actually do well against G2. I'm gonna get some close matches, but for now, it's 5-1 for G2 on attacking side on split, which is not really positive for Orgless.
No, it's not. And G2, with the ball rolling, with the momentum, is never what you want to see. As you said, though, Lothar, there has been a little bit of a break. It hasn't benefited G2 in that aspect because they've had to slow things down and they've lost their momentum potentially. This was the buy they were up against. An op was saved over in the previous round, not bought up. Hoodie's not that crazy. The rest of the team have decided to go in for a low buy. They've got a rolling thunder to work with, as well as 2 not so relevant, at least to bridge the gap in these kind of buys, ultis as well. For Orgless, the objective here, probably a good round would be if they manage to save the operator and the other 4 players die so they get their money back. If they can manage to pick up a couple of weapons along the way, they would be delighted. But they're at a disadvantage in every fight except for that one, which they lost anyways. The op now on the floor can potentially be retrieved. I don't want pyth to defend it aggressively till his teammates are here, which does mean that it gets picked up, but another player falls.
Really love how the execution fall went through for G2. pyth lurking on A side. They knew they were playing against an op, so they need to take close quarter battles. So the lurk from pyth was actually pivotal for this round. It's actually quite beautiful. So I would like to explain it a little bit more in depth, because pyth used 2 of his smokes to just smoke off the entrance from A. So in this case, if hoody would have been on CT, he didn't see if someone crossed or not. That allowed his teammates to take control of mid, and in this case triggered a rotation from B side, where Orgless had to go back to A because they thought it's gonna be an execute on A. And then we got a double fake from G2. On Vents they went back to mid and then went back to A. It was quite confusing to follow, but it really paid off because of that allowed pyth to get that lurk and get that kill on hoody at some point.
And so you see the respect that they're offering their opponents now, having lost down the previous time with pistols! Oh, Boo! He's able to take down Mixwell, having caught him with the paranoia mid-air. The kills are swinging in Orgless's favor for now as they look to get that spike to the site. It isn't too easy, but Davidp does have the wall. It goes down for the spawn. Up goes Mixwell, and I thought there was going to be the swing out of heaven, but before he could even get near the window, shut down by pyth, ardiis with another, and all of a sudden, man advantage, site control, and spike planted just a moment for G2. The retake, especially difficult because ardiis is a great position and is able to shut down the first, opening it up for pyth to put 7-1 on the board. G2 are looking fantastic even after that little bit of a break.
Yeah, well coordinated. Unlucky for Mixwell, who got hit by that paranoia. With that ult, it was basically a guaranteed kill, but unfortunately he didn't see where the Omen is. A small mistake by David when, I'm not sure if you've seen it, the wall on CT didn't cover the entire entrance, so he went for the res. It actually allowed Orgless to kill Mixwell when he was being res, because David thought there's no way of Orgless peeking from CT, but there was like a gap. Like a huge gap, you know?
One of those quick ones, you just pop it down in the heat of the moment and want to just get your res, get your teammate back up, win the round, but it ain't always all too clean. Luckily, the ardiis was there to save the day. As we come into this 5v5, you take a look at Orgless's hardware. It ain't great by any means. They've again got those pistols. G2 made the mistake in the fourth round of pushing straight towards the A site through a smoke versus pistols and getting wrecked. In fact, the Blade Storm didn't even have any effect on the round. This time, though, they are looking for a much slower pace. They're allowing the pistols to peek into them and trading when they go forward. This is textbook in how to handle these kinds of rounds. They now have heaven control. They wall it off, which is very difficult to break when you've got pistols, which essentially means that Orgless have to come through the spawn. And with 2 versus 4, they need to hit the heads. It's next to impossible. I think you're looking to farm some ult charges if you can, if you're happy, and just make it as costly as possible for G2. And it ain't costly at all. They just lose 1 player. Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. You can see a pattern also in the 3 rounds I have seen now. G2 is moving as a unit. An example here, they wanted to breach B, while pyth was lurking on mid. When the rush on B failed because they had to go back after seeing Cypher from the B side, who then gave info for rotations, they took control of mid for free because pyth was already there and had heard like the rotations coming in for B, so they are allowed to kind of slow it down and take more map control. So really well played. We'll see if that follows the pattern in this round.
You know, for G2, I do wonder, this level of confidence versus Orgless, we were thinking that we would see it, and we are. But when they come up against teams like FPX, teams like, let's say Liquid, I guess.
Take a look at pyth. Look at pyth. He was undetected, went to heaven with absolutely no information from Orgless that he actually went there. But hoody, still patient, was waiting for a player to go back. Unlucky. I don't think he heard it, but now he knows.
Yeah, there was no way out. So good to trade them out afterwards. As you said, pyth managed to sneak up, and he could have gotten that backstab, but it was all down to routing and how he moved around and walked right into the operator. But the reaction was there. They realized the threat. They deal with it. It's being recovered by pipsoN. Now, 2 versus 3 is winnable. This is probably the best chance that Orgless have had at a buy round at all.
But just take a look at where's pipsoN right now?
He's just playing passive. So this mixed signals right now, right? pipsoN doesn't want to go for it, but his teammate is pushing down. He's the option to fall back now through spawn or through ropes, but he's staying here. pipsoN's too far away. pipsoN's still not moving. They're definitely not going to go for this. So it seems odd that you have 2 different strategies being deployed that are very contradictory.
Yeah, I guess pipsoN wanted to save the op, you know, worth a lot of cash. But at the same time, maybe the plan was, let me get 2 kills and then we retake.
Yeah, it's never going to happen, though, is it? I mean, the majority of the time you'll be traded. 1 kill, hard enough to get. The second, though, afterwards, you won't have time. And he was too far away. Whatever the call was, they've managed to carry the operator forward, and I guess that's the be-all and end-all of it. There's the miss by Mixwell on the second blast pack. Now, the last time that the first time, in fact, that Mixwell took that agent, that he played a Raze, I remember we said, oh, well, look, he's mastered Jett. Who knows what he can do with Raze? And then he killed himself with the showstopper. So, yeah, I was always nervous every time I see him pick it ever since, but he hasn't quite gone that far since the very first time.
You know what didn't change, though? G2 is always trying to initiate something happening at the beginning of the round. the round starts, something is happening. G2 is breaching somewhere, using the utility to kind of like start and initiate and a utility from their opponents as well. I really like that playstyle. It was so different than from what I've seen from Heretics and Liquid so far.
And in some cases from G2 in the past, I think you are seeing them shift up their strategy, although it's going to be confident. They're looking to add extra levels to it. Now, speaking of extra things, extra rounds would be great for Orgless to pick up. There's 2 left to play for, including this one, and they're in a 3v5 retake. Going forward here is risky. I like the paranoia, but nobody's pushed back through. And so this is the round is done and dusted. The question is, how much do they walk out with over on the Orgless side? And I couldn't really disagree with that push anymore. You cannot do damage to G2's economy. There is 1 round left after this one, and they've got plenty of cash. The only question was, how easy is it going to be for you to buy? And now even saving that op is going to be difficult. Hoodie in danger, the TP behind him. It was a brave play. It was a ballsy one, but Patitek not getting away with it. What he has done, though, is kept Hoodie in this position for his teammates to come up behind him and hopefully take him down. Oh, the classic!
He got him!
Just in time.
It was worth it. For G2, it doesn't really
100%.
matter if they lose 3 or 4 people here, because they still have really healthy economy. While for Orgless, losing that off is actually very important.
So the thing as well is Patitek using the Shadow Step in that position actually benefits him quite a bit, because it takes a while, right? You're not going to risk shooting him too early, but that means that you stick around. Look, you wait for it to finish, then you pop the shot, which means you buy your teammates an extra second or 2 to get into position, which ultimately is what kept Hoodie right. Oh, ardiis, what are you doing? He just swung wide before the smoke had popped. Got taken now by Hoodie, and there's a free kill to start things off. The res comes in at least, so they don't have the man disadvantage, but I guess it's armor gone for no reason.
I love this playstyle. There's no fear. Everyone just breaches these sides. pyth just going in through the smokes. Oh, Happy got a kill. This is the first time with Showstopper in this half.
So the reaction, though, of G2, immediately they wall off in heaven and they rush towards the B site. The problem is a player has already made it into position. pipsoN down below with a Spectre in hand. They're jumping back and forth through the cages, giving a lot of information away as a stun comes in to slow the play. Now, Davidp on the A site, he's got the spike and he's managed to sneak right past them. They have an idea that he could be here. Happy looking back and dropping the nade that's going to keep Davidp at bay. This was a hectic round from G2 and a big clutch needed. At least it starts off well for Dave, and he can regroup with ardiis at this point. ardiis, remember, doesn't have the armor after being rezzed up earlier on, and this is where a res could be extremely beneficial to be able to get a teammate back into the fight. As ardiis falls, a 1v3 in this round should go by the wayside for G2. That spike oh, hold on, they haven't actually challenged him. They thought he was faking it, which would have made sense. A chance for Davidp, but yeah, only the one.
It was actually well planned from both of the teams, because first G2 wanted to fake going to Heaven B for to initiate a rotation from Orgless to B, but then we have seen Boo staying on A the entire time because they were anticipating a fake. So it was crucial for Orgless to have a player still on A that did get the information that someone is jumping off Heaven on A side, which then gave info to Happy, who cut off Sage with his utility, with the paint shell, but still fell short in the duel. But in general, I really like this exchange. It was well played and improvised from both teams. I felt like communication here was on point from both teams. They communicated really well to just kind of craft this plan.
So, we did the previous half confident, right? So the confidence continues, is what I'm leaning towards. pyth has bought a Sheriff. In the pistol round. Yes, pyth has gone for the Sheriff as the B player. Now, he does have support in the form of ardiis, so he's not completely... Oh, sorry, in the form of Mixwell. I'm so used to ardiis playing down on the Raze when it comes down to split. But it's an interesting buy, not one that's paid off for them. And G2, well, they're getting off to a terrible start in the pistol. This just shows how... Look, you're 10-2 up. You could buy 5 Sheriffs for 3 rounds in a row, and I won't really critique you all too heavily. And it goes the same for the previous round, right? The final one of the first half. You could sit back and say, oh, well, they made this mistake, that mistake, and they certainly did. But they can, because they're so far ahead. And you'll see teams do this all the time, especially confidence-based ones like G2, who realistically, at this stage, for the next couple of rounds, they're playing for some clips.
I would still love to hear the reasoning why the Sheriff, you know? Especially for Cypher, who can get the traps on. that ult. Nice triple from David, but that's about it. Dust and dust. And first round goes to Orgless, 10-3.
Yeah, I think that's the Sheriff. We actually had a conversation about this.
Yeah, we did.
Rehearsals the other day. We were asking, can it ever be viable? And it doesn't seem to be. The Ghost is just the better option if you're going to invest into a pistol, or taking the Classic, which is certainly viable.
One thing that I would take into consideration is that I would say the metagame kind of favors also buying just playing with Classic with small shields, which then renders the Sheriff kind of actually useless unless you one-tap someone, right? Because double click to the body doesn't really deal lethal damage in this case.
And especially if you're a Cypher playing the B site. I mean, it gives you even more to work with if you've got that Classic to slow them when they get up close and use your right clicks all day long. But look, we're talking a lot about what was really just a, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I sheriffed 5 people in the head kind of play. I think that's probably the calls that went down.
Well, still a good start for G2 actually in this round. Look at the pipsoN with only 10 HP. And a Phantom on his back. That's kind of interesting.
It's funny that they've actually gone for the eco after what was a very confident first round. I honestly thought they would just force for 2 or 3, but I guess now someone's called the focus up and try to actually get something done. And when you're Orgless in this situation, you want to get out of this round with no weapons lost. You do not want to, if anything, you probably want to save a lot of your armor, but that ain't always possible. Although you can see 3 players look pretty good. Davidp, he snuck away on the site for a double.
Beautiful.
The benefit of the Classic up close, even if your opponent has that armor, and I think both players were quite, or actually completely out of armor.
Did they pick up the Phantom? Yeah, they did. Okay.
They did, yeah.
Because I was looking at the HUD and it didn't pick up. I was like, oh no!
A little bit of a slow refresh.
Still, it was actually a really nice double kill to hurt the economy. There was no stinger on... wait, did he have a weapon? He did. He did. So it's actually 2 weapons lost anyway.
Yeah, all in all, I think the reality is, a round like that, as I said, Orgless want to get out with all their weapons. They're the ones that can't afford to mess around. They've got to play this start to finish, completely serious, and get the confidence rolling on the attacking side. This is where G2...
This is the important round. This is the most important round of the game so far.
Exactly. G2 are in a position now where they've got, they're going back to the serious strategies. Aggression down middle to try and seize a little bit of control. A passive hold on the B site, the camera looking for them only when they get nice and close where you can go in for those sprays. The problem here is that the rotate to B is actually very slow, so they might even have to play a bit of a retake. Oh, Davidp getting tickled up on middle. pyth, I mean, up above, I don't know how he survived that. They're full pushing the site. There's no control of heaven over towards G2, and yet pyth gets a kill, gets out of there. That's a miracle that that man is still alive. It doesn't look like he's going to be alive for long, nor are his teammates. As ardiis finds himself in a 1v3, having control for him, knows there's a player in towards main, but they now know where he is. He's destroyed the camera. He can only be in one position, up or down, I suppose. There's a little bit of a difference. And the flashbang buys him some time to find the first. ardiis swinging through for a little bit more, and he would have had to be there.
Back actually is almost impossible to get that double kill.
Yeah, it had to be a god tier spray from him and a huge whiff from both of those players if that was to be one, and simply not going to happen with a team like Orgless, who individually are solid.
One player remaining.
It's kind of a weird round, very chaotic. What do you think about the execute? The execute was pretty standard, like hoody just dashed on side on the default position, it was smoked off, went through the traps of pyth. If I'm not mistaken, it might have not even be any traps. There were 2 cages.
Cages, definitely.
But
I don't think there were traps.
That was about it. But then the entire retake scenario was going like 1 by 1 with no trades. Everything felt kinda really chaotic for me.
Yeah, look, it was odd because G2 got off to such a good start, right, that it ended up being thrown away. Again, I think the confidence coming into play a little bit. We say how well they bounce off of each other, and they don't seem to be doing that right now. But it is only a matter of time, and that's the benefit that G2 have. There's 5 rounds now between them. I start to get worried when Orgless hits 7 if we don't see G2 bounce back in the next buy round. That's where things get a little bit too tight. Oh, there's a kill. Or not. Somehow.
Did he get it? I don't think so.
No, delezy's still alive. He's got about 40 HP, but he's going to survive the round by the looks of it. I thought that was guaranteed. He was blind. You're on the side. Not a lot of time to line up that ghost shot, but he only got the one.
He did get a hit on the headshot, but that's about it.
Yeah, no follow-up. The gods of RNG were not with him that time. I do like that Mixwell's playing an exit. They're carrying this forward. They can buy anyways if he dies, so maybe he can at least do some damage to Orgless here.
Yeah, and he dies, he still has cash for the next round because they played an eco round, a health buy this round, this way. But him getting that kill on Omen allows him to have his ultimate, his showstopper already available at the beginning of the round, which might be
very good point.
Very important to get that initial kill or just stopping a rush on a site. So let's take a look how will he use that, because he's going on A heaven right now and he's most likely gonna peek. Or no, he's actually staying on a window. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I guess for Mixwell, using the ultimate in a very reactive manner makes a lot of sense. Oh, that's stun dodged. Here comes Hoodie rushing, but doesn't check his left. That's trouble as ardiis quickly gets the trade. Unfortunately, it is a trade as Davidp fell in the first place. He was looking to play the Shao, which is to say the judge holding mid by himself, as ardiis would have been able to rotate afterwards.
Yeah, that actually very good execute by Orgless here, because there was a blind coming from Omen to the entire B heaven, and this is why ardiis didn't kill hoody like faster. This is why also ardiis died, because he had to close in the distance to see hoody actually being there.
Exactly. Excellent point. And that's the benefit, as we talked about earlier, of having that Omen when it comes to most of the maps that aren't bind, to be honest. And with Icebox introduced, I think we're set to see the same. You know, this scoreline could be deceptively close, but Orgless are building up their own little bit of momentum, and G2 might have given them a little bit too much leash. That nade is going to slow down the push that would have come in directly after the Rolling Thunder. Then in comes Mixwell with the showstopper. That will delay them even further. Out goes the blast pack, the shot. They now know that he's on the site. They also have control of heaven, and Mixwell is going to have to go huge. His teammates are on the other side of the map. They might get here.
Very awkward spot for Mixwell right now. He's just isolated with his entire team, but ardiis gets an important kill.
It's huge! Turning his back, Boo gets taken down, a surprise for him. 10 seconds left. Mixwell falls. That will be the spike planted, then the Rolling Thunder afterwards, looking for the kill on this player on site. Lots of time to line it up for ardiis. He doesn't know exactly where Happy is, though. The flash goes out, it's dodged, and Happy sprays down 3! 7 for Orgless and G2. They don't get away with it this time.
I just wanted to say, I really hope they're not gonna peek one by one. But this was actually a little bit too fast. They were certain that he's gonna be on the right side, right? And he just went straight into the full auto from the Phantom on Happy. It's kind of interesting because it felt like this is gonna be an easy win, right? When you just time it correctly, it's gonna be an easy trade. But Happy with this spray and gets an easy double kill.
I mean, I think this whole game felt like it was going to be an easy win. It was 10-2 at one point. Orgless have now won 5 rounds in a row, and I would argue, you know, maybe 3 of those were thrown away by G2, but that one right there, they were trying. They're focused up, and what does that do to your mentality when you lose? I think this is where you start to say, okay, guys, listen, okay, we've had our fun. Now let's close the game. I'm getting a bit worried, and if you lose the next buy round, well then, panic might start to set in. G2, they don't usually get tested. Certainly not like this, not by a team that are, well, I guess you can technically call them a team now, but they ain't been together that long. They haven't had too much time to prepare compared to the other competitors in this tournament.
And they're definitely being perceived as underdogs in this match.
Oh, by a long shot. G2 should body them. They were 10-2 up. It was looking like they would.
And this also brings the point when, you know, split in pro play is actually more attack-based. We've seen this over and over right now. In both the quarterfinals, when split is being played, the attacking side has actually kind of an easier time in most of the cases.
Was that camera activated? I presume it was, because they obviously saw it or they knew it was there previously. This pyth closes in the distance. He was trying to dodge a flash, but well, it didn't come through. It was instead the paranoia that took him down. Then the flashes come in afterwards. A ghost up close, chance for a kill. Mixwell gets one from afar. Davidp's caught reloading. Somehow survives a little longer than he should have. But really, I love the bookie. Oh, I love the TP in. The confidence, Patitek. I'm here for it. Oh, no, he sees a player up close. It's a shame that that was pipsoN and not Boo. Otherwise, it would have worked perfectly. But Boo, in the end, does take the kill as 10-8 comes on the board. Orgless, this buy round is going to define this game for me. If G2 win it, they're back on the board. If Orgless take it,
this is going to be a very close game. By the way, I wanted to point it out. this was a perfect example why Phantom on split is so important, because, you know, shotguns on split are very powerful. You have very close range encounters in here on the map, and Patitek had a perfect opportunity to get a frag with the Bucky through the smoke if there was someone playing with a Vandal, because we would have seen the flash and the tracers coming where they were coming from. Here, with pipsoN shooting with a Phantom, he didn't leave him any kind of like indicator where the shot are coming from. So Patitek had to just shoot blind.
There you go, swinging in for the blind shots and not landing them. But G2, they've gone into a couple of these rounds with their eyes closed, hoping for the best, and it hasn't come through. This is their chance to really just shut Orgless down before it gets completely out of control. Good damage done straight away. Hoodie missed the shot on the operator as the smoke bloomed. He was sprayed down. pipsoN's lost most of his armor as well.
Look at the map controller right now. Happy is already in vents.
So the fact that Happy is closed in that distance, I presume they know that he can be there. Unless that tripwire is a little bit too high or low, he can only have come there from heaven, right? Yeah, so they should know that.
So. Yeah.
There's no way he gets over it otherwise. They know they've given up the control. The dash in by Hoodie, who's low HP, pops the ultimate, but he's up. Oh, no, he's not spotted. Free kill for Hoodie. Sprays away, but can't find the frag. Operator comes out, and Hoodie, he's seen the player, but he hasn't shot away. Doesn't want to do it just yet, as pyth has to save the day. A 1v3 coming in from the defender spawn. He's not being watched. He's crept his way into the elbow. This could be huge. The spike goes down. He swings on one. Looks for Hoodie. The up shot is connected. If that misses, the round is under heavy threat.
Yeah, that was actually a very good lurk from pyth. And I'm actually impressed how he constantly finds those opportunities for being a player like that. He knows the timings on basically every single rotation. He hears, like, you know, a trigger from a utility, a sound cue that gives him some more information. He's reading into that, and that is so cool to see.
I do love as well how Hoodie was above the player but didn't get a headshot. It's like the chances of that, but luckily he connected all the shots. Otherwise, I think he would have been very angry.
But, you know, it's getting hot in here. 10-9 right now, 7 rounds in a row for Orgless. You have to ask yourself, was G2 trolling in that pistol round?
Oh, I mean, they bought a sheriff. At least pyth was. At least pyth was messing about, surely. But either way, you know, the fact that we are in this position, the fact that Orgless are being challenged, or the fact that Orgless are challenging with all these consecutive rounds, it's scary. G2 have picked up the opening kill in this round. They've just popped an ultimate as well to get that little bit of information. They've seen Orgless entirely outside of A. That leaves Orgless with 2 options. Rush into the A site right here and now, or play it slower. And potentially, that they've spotted a player inside, but it's not that much information to play with. I don't think it would have taken a genius to presume that there was going to be one site. So
they don't really achieve much. Yeah, they don't really achieve much. That no one was breaching the site, so no one took advantage of it. Basically, it was like a hurricane arrow from Sova that said there's someone here, and that's it.
Where you know there's someone probably.
Yeah, and you have no one that can follow it up anyway.
This is dangerous, though. The pistol's up close. This is where they can thrive. With his back turned, though, pyth got caught completely off guard. Mixwell went out to trade. Now here's the benefit of the ult, right? They know Patitek was on the site. They just make sure. But the shadow step across, it's expected. They know he could be here. Nice opening for him, TPing all the way through to spawn as he gets away inside the smoke. The call is there. The shots, he's lucky that it's Hoodie, in fact, so he can't really spray through that smoke, but he is holding it. And baited it out with the shoulder. Nice stuff by Patitek. Still, capitalizing off it will be difficult. He has a smoke. Paranoia goes out. There's the shot. They might try to drop on him, but ardiis just can't get out there with the players still on site. I think that smoke needed to be used a little bit earlier, and even though he connects the headshot, it means nothing as Boo easily survives it. 10, 8 in a row. Orgless, they are on fire right now as G2 come into their bye round.
You know, and this round even started with a first blood by ardiis on Orgless, but unfortunately this round was still kind of like a half buy. ardiis with a ghost, if I'm not mistaken, Patitek had a Spectre, and was there Mixwell with a Vandal, but that's about it. There was no more equipment. So even though they were playing in an advantage 5v4, it was kind of hard to like crunch it into a full round win. Now we're very close. This is getting dangerous. Full buy coming from G2, but I'm not certain if their economy will be in a good spot if they're going to lose this round. I don't think so.
Mixwell's going back to the operator. I'm enjoying that. So we're going to see the Raze up. It's very reminiscent of Replan from 2G4L back in the beta. He was the one that was deploying this all the time, showing us blast pack plays before Jett became the go-to operator agent. Gives me those vibes. I'm happy to be thrown back into that sea of nostalgia from, what, 8 or 9 months ago.
Fortunately for G2, there's not a single ultimate ready for Orgless, so they don't have to worry about positioning about the Rolling Thunder, about Showstopper, like putting them deep into sites. So this might be an easier round. This is probably the best moment for G2 to actually take it and get the lead, especially with a first blood by Mixwell, but now it's still a trade. Mixwell getting a kill post his own death.
From the grave, a little bit of martyrdom there, dodging the nades. Patitek, they should know he's not there. The paint shells would have killed him, and he swings through just to confirm it. Hoodie, the last alive in a 1v4. The lead for G2 hasn't been challenged yet, and it looks like it might not be. A double tap to the body, it's what we were talking about earlier. Not enough to kill when they've got armor in the tank. 11-10, G2. They don't lose the lead. They lost
close.
8 in a row, but they just about managed to hold on to this.
Mixwell being the hero of this round. Even, like, you know, he got 1 kill. That was a trade by hoody. But then he gets another one with paint shots. That was probably round deciding right there.
Whoa. What's happening here? So we picked up a second operator, I guess, at the end of the last round. Mixwell has one for sure on the floor. pyth had a second, unless the hood was lying to me.
No, we have 1. There are 2 Phantoms, 1 Vandal.
I think there's one on the ground, though, because at one stage, Mixwell and pyth both had one, unless that was a hood glitch. I don't know. But either way, there's the Rolling Thunder, the push afterwards. Great. Oh
my god, that was so well done by pyth. Too bad he didn't get the occasion, you know, he didn't get the chance to actually fall back on the site.
Hey, still, he got away with more than he should have in that situation. I guess he shouldn't have been killed either. So it's sort of like everything is balanced
but
in this situation.
You can see how hoody reacted quick on his feet with the double smokes to help his teammate not getting killed, because they knew exactly that he got punched, let's say, in the air by the Rolling Thunder. So very well played by hoody, but unfortunately pyth with that wallbang got him anyway.
Yeah, very few players are going to be popping a Rolling Thunder and going, well, that ought to scare them. Like, you're going to go for the trade. The kill. Oh, it's huge. My God. The Raze popped happy. He gets the double. Orgless back in a 3v3, pushing the A site. They've scared G2 into a rotate, so they find the site completely open for business. It's free today. It's a once-in-a-lifetime sale. And Orgless, this one started out in an okay manner for them, but they've started to shut them down. Out goes the operator. This has to pull it back. The kill from Patitek traded immediately. He was a little bit over-eager. I don't know why he's re-peeking before his teammates are there.
He was teleporting right now.
He was.
Yes.
The TP, that's heartbreaking. As we end up in the 2v2, G2 want to get back into the site. Hoodie, though, he's repositioned. And he catches another ultimate popped updraft in, and Mixwell, he dodges the knives. Expert play, but he has to find both kills with an operator. It's not easy.
11-11
from below, baby. Tied up yet again. Orgless, they're not giving up yet.
You know, this was actually beautifully played by Orgless. You know why? Because they knew that Sage had a res. They will come for it 100% because it's already, like, the match is so close. So they baited into a full rotation. They made so much noise coming into mid, making noise that they're gonna go A, but left happy with that showstopper. That showstopper was so impressive because it doesn't matter that you just get a kill instantly, right? But the timing of it, the plan, the execution, everything was here. The only thing that was kind of bad for them was happy actually dying.
Yeah, but huge brain. I don't know if that was pipsoN, if it was happy, but whoever called it, you're a genius. That was amazing. It was so smart. That's what we love to see. The innovation. You know the players there. If you're pushing the A site, they're going to go for the res. Showstopper, boom, double kill. He doesn't get out of there alive, but it's more than enough to buy them the space to win the round. It's exactly what you needed in that moment to stop G2 from regrouping and coming back into the round. Now G2, 11-11, tied up, forced down to this weak buy. 2 stingers in play.
2 stingers, a bulldog, 2 bulldogs actually. This is not looking good for G2.
No, it's not. They've literally got 1 strong rifle in the hands of Patitek. I love the Bulldog, but it ain't going to hold up against your Vandals and your Phantoms. Certainly not with the way Orgless have been playing them. A 10-2 lead. Possibly the biggest drop-off we've ever seen from G2. On a map like Split especially, it's heartbreaking. And we'll see what Orgless have got up their sleeve. 35 seconds left. Rolling Thunder being lined up as we speak. But there's 3 players towards this B site. Mid is being approached very passively, but he's boosted up on top of the wall. He has no idea. Oh, this is going to be massive. But with the Stinger as well, Davidp can't even peek that. He can't do anything at that range. The TP through. Boo is close. Does he check his left? As he pushes on through, he gets blinded. Time is so low, they've got to make a move here and now! And the pistol, the weak buy! This is ridiculous! G2 get away with everything!
Okay, so I'm really confused right now. There was the wall. Jett was over the wall. Rolling Thunder actually went into the site before the wall got destroyed. So they couldn't follow it up. No one was actually following it up, the Rolling Thunder. I'm honestly kind of baffled here.
I don't know. I don't know what just happened. The logic here, even pushing in while paranoid for the close fights versus a low buy, leaving the time so low, 40 seconds to even set up that push, that was a really messy round by Orgless. Everything has looked so clean so far, but now they give over a Prime Gaming flawless round to G2 to put it 12-11. 1 left to go in this half. We're either going to hit an overtime or G2 take it 1-0 and set out to close this series 2-0. Either way, Orgless have done an insane job. They were 10-2 down, now 1 away from reaching that overtime. And the hiccup of the previous round, it can be forgotten if they come out on top here. But the difference is G2 have got the rifles this time around.
Yeah, but still, Orgless with a full buy, they have everything apart from the ultimates. The Rolling Thunder that was used last round would have been just so, you know, helpful right here. I wanted to commend Orgless for the previous round when they played so patient, because I wanted to say, oh, you know, they are aware. They are playing against a lower buy. They want to get a pick when someone has an inferior weapon. But then they went just up close and was... Oh, man, I'm a little bit angry inside, you know?
I'm with you there, brother. I'm with you 100%. It was a frustrating round to watch. You could see the problems start to evolve around that 40-second mark, and to see it then end in disaster.
Now we have map control right there by Orgless. Even though they have only 4 players, they got control of vents. They don't know, of course, if someone is rotating behind them, but still, they're allowed to get on A. 2 players from G2 just waiting for that. pyth with the sneaky beaky play next to his plant. Just waiting for someone to drop from heaven.
15 seconds! They have to go! The spikes dropped, the round's over, you've lost! They have to run! They have to
10
rush!
seconds! 10 seconds!
There's no time! It's literally done! They all get killed in the end, but that is 2 sloppy rounds from Orgless to lose that one out.
The Team Liquid special on the last seconds of the clock.
Exactly, but unfortunately not even working out to the same extent it would for Liquid. That is heartbreaking. G2 take it 13-11.